What is up, and welcome to Ask DLF. It's Taco Tuesday, it's Waffle Wednesday, just depending on where you're viewing this from or when you're viewing this, maybe. I am at Calvin and Hobby. We are here to talk about Ask DLF. This is where you get a chance to ask a bunch of questions, not only to me, but to the very distinguished guest right here to my left, Tyler Karp. Tyler, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I mean, I'm me, so I'm good.
You are you nailing it right off the bat with perfect answers. So yeah, look, we are here to answer every single one of your questions. As the little banner down below is saying, use that live chat to ask any questions that you have. It doesn't matter what it is. If we're talking about startup drafts, I'm in one right now. We've got a lot of those going on. So if you have questions about that, let's talk about it. If you've got questions on trades, this is a good time to do it. How about player evaluation? Starting to do your homework on things? Let's talk about that. So without further ado, let's just welcome in a few of our friends who are here. Well, first we got a comment from this guy, Calvin and Hobby. I know him. Let's get this question in. Subscribe, like, and share, comment, do all those things. Ed says it's Taco Tuesday. What's up, Ed? Appreciate you. I did a trade with Ed. Tyler, would you like to tell me which side of this trade you liked better?
Sure.
We're in a startup draft together, me and Ed. I had the 4th pick. He had the 9th pick in the draft. Kyler Murray fell to 104.
Okay.
So he traded up from 109 to 114, and I got 3 extra 2023 seconds. Superflex, tight end premium. What do you think?
I've heard about this trade already.
I figured you might.
Yes. I will take the 3 extra seconds. So you said what, 5 picks down?
Yeah, to go. So
yeah,
I'll
take the 3. I'll take the 3 extra seconds. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I'll take the 3 extra seconds still.
I was fortunate that I ended up getting Lamar Jackson with that 1.9. I thought that was, I liked the value there at 1.9. So, but Kyler Murray, a lot of people looked pretty panicked last night, and a lot of fantasy owners panicking. Any worries from you?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm not going to worry. What are you going to do, right? I mean, trade him off of a bad game? I don't think so.
Still top tier, right? You still have him in that top 3?
I do. At
Good.
3.
Good.
I had him before.
Akesh. Go ahead, give me a pronunciation. I should already know this. I'm in a group chat with you.
Is that what that's what I usually go for?
Yeah. Okay. So
that's how my friend from not my friend, I guess, but
yeah,
the guy, the same name from middle school, always went that way. So, but anyone could go a different way. I've heard it pronounced multiple ways.
We appreciate you tuning in. Trevin Bulger says, yo, what's up? And hey, there's been a lot of really great comments underneath the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on, just on delay, so not watching it live, I love reading those comments after the fact. So put a comment down there. Really Truther was there and said he likes watching this on his commute to work. So
yes, I've heard about that.
Yeah. So love that. Are y'all gonna keep up with the chat this time? We're gonna try.
No, that's very unlikely. We'll try, but I think we're better off with my rants and not keeping up with the chat than we are keeping up with the chat with no rants. That's what I think.
We are definitely going to get to those rants, and we are going to try to keep up with the chat. And but look, don't hold back. If you have a question, you have something you want to say, you have a comment, put it in there. After the show last week that they did not, because they saw how far we were behind on questions. Don't worry about that. Why is that, Tyler? Why would you still want to make sure you're getting questions in, even if we can't get to them? Why might that be?
Well, because my article will come out every week reviewing the questions. That's right. So, that we did the first one. I can put the link in the chat, actually.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Yeah, I can do that. So this is going to be a, here. Do that.
Check that. While he is putting that in there, you will need a Dynasty Football subscription for that. But I'm going to put up this graphic here. This is an announcement of a giveaway. We're giving away 10 free DLF premium subscriptions. And if we can hide that, all you have to do, become a subscriber to the YouTube channel. So hit that button down below where it says subscribe. Winner is going to be announced on January 31st. So just subscribe to this YouTube channel. Unbelievably successful 2021 with the YouTube channel. It's grown so much. We appreciate every single person who has already subscribed. If you have not, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you'll have a chance to win a free DynastyLeagueFootball.com subscription.
I would do that. I think it's a good value.
Yes.
It's a good value. You wouldn't have all of my articles without the tools. If they're good enough for me, they should be good enough for everyone else, right? I mean, I use them. And if I use them, then I think everyone should use them.
Nicholas got quite a few trade questions. Well, Nicholas, you came to the right place.
Trade questions are good. Those are good for the show usually.
I love trade questions.
Me
Tyler says, "Da homies." That's right.
Yeah, another Tyler. I like it.
Patrick says, "Let's go." Appreciate everybody who is tuning in. And Tyler says, "And do we have some ideas on the top picks in a Superflex rookie draft?" We are making progress.
Your progress is being made. I will say that there is a chance that if you don't rush me and don't ask for it too many times on Twitter, there is a chance that by next week you will have that. There's a chance.
There we go.
If you want an answer now, I mean, DLF has it. You can go, and there are Superflex rookie rankings on DLF. I obviously won't read them all, but Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall, and Matt Corral. I think it's Corral, right? Coral?
I don't know. It's more fun to say Coral.
Better, but we can be Coral.
Coral reminds me of Walking Dead, the way Rick Grimes says Carl. It's Coral.
I feel like I've definitely heard it both ways.
Yeah.
But either way, those are the three that seem to be at the top right now. And I think it's really going to depend on that quarterback's draft, Coral's draft capital. Whether he's the one or if running backs go ahead of him. It's not a year where it's going to be a quarterback one for sure. Obviously, last year you had Lawrence, year before you had Burrow. We knew those were going to be the 101, QB1, 101. We don't have that this year. So it could be another position, kind of like how 2018 was with Saquon Barkley. It didn't work out. I guess it worked out if you picked him over Baker Mayfield. It worked out just fine. But
sure,
it didn't really pay off. But the last 3 years, it's been a while. We've had Kyler locked in 101, QB1, Burrow, and then Lawrence. This year, not so. So it might be another position. So there's more to think about this year in a Superflex draft than there has been the last 3 years, at least at the top.
Yep. A lot of good rookie content coming up. No
but
doubt.
There's a good chance that we get those rankings by next week. There's a good chance.
Good teaser right there. Benjamin Paul, is there more confidence in Elijah Mitchell after the last 3 weeks and receiving 27 carries in the playoff game? We do now have January ADP.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, and Elijah Mitchell actually comes in as the RB14 in DLF's ADP in January. So in startup. So that's just after Antonio Gibson, just before Cam Akers, who might get a bump.
I have him RB14 also.
Interesting. So
yeah,
what do you think? I mean, I don't know that it's, I'd say more confident.
I'm pretty sure I know what my disagreement is with the ADP. It's that I have Akers higher and Barkley lower than Mitchell. I think everything else I have exactly the same.
Yep.
As the ADP.
Yeah, Barkley coming in at RB10.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. People are so delusional on Saquon Barkley. They're not paying attention. They're not paying attention. That's the only way you could still have Saquon Barkley at that price is if you just don't pay attention. It's the only way. Where do I have him? I have Saquon Barkley. I have him down at RB15, which, I was listening to some other Dynasty podcasts recently, other podcasts. A lot of people seem to have him in that range. So I'm not the only one. The ADP value, remember what ADP value is, right? What is ADP value? What does ADP value measure? It measures, especially at the top, the most willing, 1 out of 12 most willing person to invest in a player. Saquon Barkley's actual value is not RB10. I can tell you that right now. Right now, it's not. It's way lower. So that RB10 value is not true. It's lower. And I think that my RB15, now I might have him a little low on the overall. I tend to prefer wide receivers early more than most, more than some. But I do think RB15 is closer to his actual market value. You cannot get an RB10 price for Saquon Barkley anymore.
What a wild season it's been for him.
He was so bad. I mean, I wrote my Giants Dynasty capsule. I wrote the whole article about it. You can find that on DLF too. A whole article about the Giants where I noted that really him and Devontae Booker produced the exact same in the same offense. So what is the excuse? The excuse is what exactly? Literally the same. The line is exactly the same, almost to the number. Actually, Barkley was worse. What's the excuse?
Not great. It's not great.
What is the excuse?
Yeah.
I don't see an excuse. I hear a lot of excuses, and excuses don't give you dynasty value. They don't score any fantasy points. So I don't want to hear about more excuses.
What about Elijah Mitchell? It's just like, is there anything that he's done that gives you more confidence, or is this kind of what you expected? I kind of at this point expected it.
This is what I expected. So no more confidence for me. This is exactly what I expected. I have had this confidence in him for a long time. Every time he's injured, they just go right back to him. They go right back to him. That should tell you everything you need to know, right?
Yeah.
No more confidence than I had before. But my confidence, RB14, I mean, that tells you what kind of confidence I have. I agree with the ADP's value. Almost spot on, actually. I have him almost in the exact same spot overall, too.
Perfect. Patrick Sally says Leonard Fournette, Dallas Goedert, Hollywood Brown, and the 208 for Saquon Barkley. Which side do you like?
Package side. Easily. It's not even close. I don't need all 4 of those things. Goddard and Hollywood is certainly enough for me.
I think so too. And 14 team means I want the side that's got all those. I mean, that's more players that I can.
That makes it even less close. But
right,
I certainly don't need the pick. The 3 players alone is more than enough.
There we go. A cash. I think that's
a cash.
I think that's right.
A cash.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that.
I've never heard it pronounced that way, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that.
Fair enough.
Tyler Reeves, this offseason, do I trade Amon-Ra? Amon-Ra has been a very popular topic on Twitter.
Good question.
The rest of this is not really.
The rest of this is not important. Other than who would you look to trade off for what? That's also not important. The real question is, would you trade Amon-Ra? And I really think that depends on who's in your league.
Yeah.
I have seen wildly different valuations on Amon-Ra. If you can turn Amon-Ra into Elijah Moore, do it. If you can turn Amon-Ra into 2 first-round picks, do it. If you're getting offered a second rounder for Amon-Ra, don't do it. All right. I mean, and I don't know how much I trust my value chart at the moment because it's still being worked on. But in 1 QB, I have Amon-Ra rated between the 107 and the 108. That gave you kind of an idea.
Yeah, interesting. I guess in kind of a weaker class that maybe
weak. Yeah, the class is a bit weak. Yeah. And in a super flex, he falls between right now 110 and 111. So it's where he is.
He came in as the wide receiver 25 in the January ADP, which I think is kind of high. Like I have a tough time getting him inside top 30. So let me ask you, when you Amon-Ra or Marquise Brown?
I'm kind of tired of Marquise Brown. I'll take Amon-Ra.
Okay. Amon-Ra or Brandon Ayuk?
Give me Ayuk. I don't love the situation, but I think Ayuk's too talented to go with Amon-Ra. So I'll go with Ayuk.
Amon-Ra or Amari Cooper?
Not Cooper. Cooper, not good. Not good this year. I did some research and a little bit more of a deep dive into Amari Cooper when I had a chance. Not impressed. Amari Cooper is moving down my rankings, so not Cooper. I'll take Amon-Ra.
Rashad Bateman?
Oh, no. No. Never. No? I mean, I'd rather have him than Hollywood Brown just for the value, perceptive value. But I'll take Amon-Ra.
There's other guys down here that I just think are interesting. I mean, like, Tyler Lockett and Cortland Sutton.
Lockett is way down for me. You know that.
Darnell Mooney?
No, I think you would. I think if Darnell Mooney heads everything right, you would hope he produces like Amon-Ra did when he was hot.
Darnell Mooney somehow ended up with 140 targets last year. I was just looking at a target list, and it just caught me off guard. I couldn't
but
believe
he was, if I remember correctly, when I look at the numbers here, I'm not going to like what he did on those. Oh no, I'm not going to like what he did on these 140 targets at all.
Yeah, he was like the 11th most targeted wide receiver, but he did have very like it's like the 92nd best on target passes to Darnell Mooney. So
I guess so, but I don't know. I don't think I would bet against Darnell Mooney ever having 140 targets again.
It'd probably be a good bet.
I would bet against it. I think that's his career high in targets.
Yeah, like something like 26 of them were in the last 26 or 29 of them were in
the
last
game. Let me put it this way, and in the most mean possible terms. If your offense gives Darnell Mooney 140 targets, your offense is terrible. Your offense is terrible. That tells me that your offense has no good receiving weapons. If Darnell Mooney got 140 targets, that means your offense sucks.
Yeah.
Point blank.
So I guess to
doesn't deserve that many.
Finish this question on Amon-Ra. What would you be trying if you were actively looking to trade? Which I don't know that I am. I don't know that I'm
likely that I'm looking to move on from Amon-Ra. I don't think I can get the return that I described. I don't think you can get that.
Top half of the draft, maybe.
Well, I mean, I told you what I would like. I do think there are a couple of specific players that I might be interested in. Michael Pittman actually mentioned in this question. You can't do it in this case because you already have him, but that would be a player I'd be more interested in. If I could, Pittman was cold near the end of the season. I think Pittman is a way better player. You know, Pittman, I think, can hold down an alpha role in an offense. Amon-Ra is not that. So, you know, if I could turn Amon-Ra into Pittman, you know, if it maybe take a third with Amon-Ra and turn him into Pittman, I would love to do that.
Right.
But, you know, him, Elijah Moore, players I'd target. But generally, I'm not going to like the pick return I get for Amon-Ra. So it probably would have to be a player.
And without knowing the full roster, I'd say something like if you could take Amon-Ra and let's say you have like an Aaron Jones or something like that, maybe combine those two players to get somebody better, like maybe something like that where you're taking the hype on Amon-Ra if you don't believe, and an aging player that you're ready to get out of. Maybe you can use that to flip for something a little bit better, higher end.
I guess so. I'm
just an idea. Yeah.
I'm not super desperate to move on. So
quarterback talk: Trey Lance, who we've seen not much of, or Trevor Lawrence.
Still
Lawrence. Still Lawrence. I'm
close though.
We're not very patient when it comes to quarterbacks at this point.
No, we're not. We're not patient.
We should be.
But
we should be a little bit more, especially for Lawrence.
I'll take Lawrence.
Damien just wanted to stop in and show some love for you guys. Keep grinding. Love y'all. Thanks, Damien. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
I'm not sure what you're going to do, but make sure whatever it is, like, you bring some ketchup along, Damien.
Oh my God.
Nicholas, I'm looking to rebuild 1 QB, 12 team. I only have 2 starting running backs. Don't worry, you don't have to set a lineup right now, Nicholas. Chubb and Jacob. Should I trade Josh Jacobs in the 107 for Eckler or for Kamara? Or I could get 23 and 24 first, just giving up Jacobs.
So let's see. Do you think that I'm going to approve trading a lot of things for Eckler or Kamara? You think that we're going to do that?
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that. Now, if you had paid attention to this very YouTube channel, I would suggest Addison dropped a video today. I think it was today. Was it today or yesterday? About Josh Jacobs. Go watch it. I'm not saying that made me want to acquire Josh Jacobs, because it didn't, but he is undervalued. I'm not a running backs person, so I don't tend to end up with a lot of veteran running backs ever. But, you know, he's actually someone I could consider ending up with. So I'm not doing Jacobs in the 107 for Eckler or Kamara. That's not happening. Now the second part, 23 and 24 first. I mean, honestly, like, if you're not competing,
that's good value.
You ever going to do better?
You're probably never doing better.
You're probably never doing better. So I don't think you can get a 22 and a 23. I think that's maybe no, you can't do it even if it were the 112. So no. So yeah, if you're rebuilding and this is what you want to do, I don't think you're ever going to do better. So take it.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, still just 23 years old.
Yeah, it turns 24. What, February something?
Younger than Damian Harris.
Yeah, he's February 98. I know that. I don't know his exact birthday.
Trevon Bulger, let's have an Amon-Ra discussion. We did that, so hopefully
we just did that. I might write. This might be a question that I feel like merits further discussion in more of an article where I have the tools. I can go through the splits. But for the show, I think we've answered the Amon-Ra part.
I think so too. This is a good one right here. A lot of the internet talking about CeeDee Lamb. Are we telling the internet to chill? Chill the F out and hold on?
Well, what I like about being me is that I can get my DMs returned. So let's just say that I had a very good discussion with the people at Keep Trade Cut about this very topic. It was actually very good. I learned a lot about their methodology, whatever. I won't talk about what we talked about, but I was happy that I could get that DM returned, especially since I've been critical of them in the past. But, with that being said, I assume that's what this is in reference to. Actually, Akash was the one who made the tweet about Lamb that we're talking about here. But no, I'm not downgrading him. But I do find it interesting that, given what I learned from that conversation with KTC, that his value has, at least according to their methodology and what they're seeing, has really gone down. And there was a big event change in their polls over the last, 24 hours. I obviously think that is a little bit just people being mad at CeeDee Lamb. But, it is interesting now, but you know what that means, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? If the value decline is real, if it's really there are really people doing this. Not everybody, but there are people who feel this way. What does that mean?
It means that you're not going to get the value for him if you're going to try and trade him.
No. It means it's time to buy CeeDee Lamb.
That's what I was going to say. Like, in looking at this, like, if you have a chance to pull him out of the grasp of the person who has them, then you do it. Because here's a trade for him where the person gives up Saquon Barkley and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, I'll take Lamb.
I have a feeling to know which way you would want to go on that.
Not Barkley, so it'll be Lamb.
14-team, 1 QB league. Jared Goff and a 2022 first for CeeDee Lamb.
That had better be the 101, and even if it is, it's still Lamb.
That is not great. Our very own Shane is the worst. Got CeeDee Lamb for, this is more interesting, T. Higgins and a 2022 first in a 16-team league.
Got to know where that first is, otherwise I can't answer.
So where would it be? What's the line there? 105?
I'll look.
Somewhere around there?
105.
Yeah.
105 or higher.
Okay, Corral. Okay.
I kind of like Coral better, but Corral.
I think I'm going to call him Coral.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We've had this problem with players before where we pronounce it one way and then we have Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
That we actually find out. Let's hear from him how he wants his name to be pronounced. I want to hear from him.
Let's do that
before we start assigning it one way.
We're talking about this already. Is he a sell high?
He's not a sell high. No. This is not high. This is low. No. He's not a sell high. I think he's a buy low or a draft target. Oftentimes, by the way, buy low and startup draft target are the same thing. Those lists are the same players.
Right.
It's just a question of how you can do it.
Matt Corral, like Golden Corral.
So Patrick says it's Corral then.
I guess so. I guess that is what we're which I think that's the same thing he's saying up here. Yeah, Corral. Yeah. Golden Corral. All right. Still like Coral, but we'll go with Golden Corral. Might be a good nickname for him.
It actually might be. Yeah.
Justin, what's up? For a rebuilding team, would you trade Akers and Terry McLaurin for the 1-0?
You muted?
I
I don't know what was going on there. But anyway, format would help a lot here. In a 1 QB, probably not. Actually, definitely not. This is just kind of meh. In a super flex, I would consider it. I would consider it because I'd much rather have the 102 than either of those players. For sure. I have the option to take quarterback. Yeah. Still might not do it though. It's pretty much even.
I don't want to necessarily do that either because to me, like Akers is probably worth 2 first at this point.
It'll help. It'll help with these trades. Include formats, especially Superflex or not, is what matters.
Correct. Those are the most important. Here we go. Here we go. Is Akers potentially a top 5 dynasty running back? Now, before you go too crazy, I don't think it's a crazy question just because of there is an age difference right now where we've got a lot of those guys that we've been counting on in the Alvin Kamara's and the Dalvin Cooks and the Derrick Henrys and the, Ezekiel Elliott. And those guys are getting older now. So we've got a young running back who appears to be a physical freak that is just, you can't injure him, I guess. You can't take him out.
You can apparently, but he just comes back. I still have no understanding of how he did that. It's not possible. Just for the record, don't expect James Robinson to do the same thing. It's not possible. He did something that is not possible. So I do not understand how that happened. I don't get it. So maybe he's just different from other people.
In the same way that Adrian Peterson sort of ruined things for people coming back from ACLs, he's sort of ruining things.
But that was shorter. That was longer from an ACL.
So,
Achilles is much worse.
But he came back and then had 2,000 rushing yards. Like, I'm just saying,
yeah, that's true. He was that good.
Yeah, he's killing it. And Akers is kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp in 2019 really beat the odds too. I mean, he had an ACL tear week 8 the year before and then comes back and was the wide receiver 4. So he's another one who beat the odds. But this is beating the odds to a whole new level. But in top 5, no.
You're not taking up so risk. Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Najee Harris. Those are obvious no's. Javonte Williams is a no, right?
Yeah, no. And then Christian McCaffrey still. So.
Christian McCaffrey. Okay.
That's already 5.
So that's 5 right there. But I just think, when you're thinking about Alvin Kamara at going into 27 years old.
I get why you would do it. I get why you would do it.
Cam Akers is what, going to 23?
He turns 23 in June.
What about Akers or Dobbins?
Akers.
Yeah.
Akers is in a better situation.
Top 10 isn't crazy.
I have him at 10.
Yeah, top 10 isn't crazy.
Totally, I don't think it's crazy.
Big rig, Amari versus Zeke value.
Player I don't want. Player I don't want A and player I don't want B. But I mean, these are 2 players I don't want at all. I'd rather have Amari, but
I'd rather have Amari too.
I don't want either of these players. I'm lower on both of these versus consensus by a lot.
I don't like anything I hear about Ezekiel Elliott right now.
No. Ezekiel Elliott, his ADP is not something I understand.
And his contract is still so bad.
Yeah, people must have watched a different Ezekiel Elliott from the one that I saw over the last 11 weeks. They must have seen a different player. This is what we call misleading year-end stats. Yeah, he finishes the RB6. Split it out the first 5-6 weeks versus the last 11 or 12. What do you care about more? What happened in the first 5 weeks? What matters more? What happened earlier or what happened later? What's more predictive of next year? Earlier or later? We know which one is more predictive. Later. So I care more about what happened later, where he was bad. So no, thank you.
I can't believe he finished that high. I literally cannot believe
because he was good. Did. He was good, and then he wore down, and he was never the same. And I don't want that. I don't want Once we see a running back who started to wear down, I'm just done. I'm done with that player. Done. So done with 27-year-old Zeke. No, thank you.
From week 10 to week 17, Devin Singletary had about the same amount of points.
Oh, that's a separate discussion because Singletary was actually pretty good.
He was.
Although that didn't really even start until week 14 or 15. So, yeah, not great.
Okay, so good question there, Big Rick. We appreciate that. Tyler Reeves, what are Dobbins and Javonte in y'all's running back rankings?
Yeah, I have Dobbins at 11 and Javonte at 4.
I do not update my rankings near as often as Tyler, so mine are not going to be as up to date. So yeah, I won't even get into that. But yeah, I think those are good rankings. J.K. Dobbins is somebody that I've been saying for a couple of months now, like to buy, because I think if he had been healthy in 2021, we would have loved what we saw out of J.K. Dobbins, and I think he's still a young running back that is going to have a prime opportunity coming into next year. I'm excited about him. So he'll sneak into the top 12 in ADP and probably top 10.
He's already in the top 12 in ADP.
Yeah, I just saw he's in RB12 now. So yeah, I think he's going to keep going up.
Yep.
Okay, Dobbins or Nick Chubb?
Dobbins.
Yeah. Dobbins or Austin Eckler?
I'll take Eckler.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Eckler. I know he's older too, but like I don't know. I like Eckler a lot.
I know. I mean, it's something you got to weigh this like older versus younger thing, but
yeah,
it's complicated.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Ed just picked up an orphan super flex, sold Javonte for Akers in 2 seconds. 2 seconds and a third. Okay. Felt good about that pivot, especially after the game last night.
I would have wanted to do better than that. I would have wanted to do better. Not impressed.
There is a chance that Javonte ends up being a bit of a disappointment next season, but he's so young.
There's a chance Akers could be a disappointment, right? I mean,
of course.
Akers is still coming off an injury. I mean, Javonte was picked earlier. I mean, he was picked earlier in the second round than Akers was. And, Javonte put together a season of being good, which Akers has never done. So a season hasn't done that. So he's younger. I don't see the two players as particularly close. I don't think the talent gap is that big. Certainly not after an Achilles tear. I mean, I was saying the only reason I was still in on the big reason I was still in on Akers is I thought that 80% of Akers in this offense could still be really good. But yeah. I'm not sure 80% of Akers is better than 100% of Javonte.
Probably not.
Probably not, right? So I'll go with Javonte side there.
Robert, who we've had a lot of pronunciation help in this show. I'm not going to do that here.
Sorry.
Sorry, Robert. Should I rebuild? I won this year. Yes, you should. But I don't know that I want to say, like, thinking about it in terms of rebuilding. Yeah,
unfortunately, this type of question is good neither for the show nor the article, because I can't tell you if you should rebuild just based on a few words, unfortunately.
I will say you have a team full of people who the value is at the point now where I want to get out or would have already been trying to get out.
Yeah.
You won the championship, so you can't say anything, bad about that. But I do think whatever you can get for Aaron Jones, if you got to combine a couple of these assets and flip them into something else.
Yeah, but you have, some of these players are players that you can't, or past the selling point even. Like Hopkins is too late. Like you didn't get anything. Aaron Jones is probably too late. Like, what are you going to get in return for Aaron Jones? Like,
the best thing that can happen is Aaron Jones has a wild finish to his postseason, and you can sell him at that point.
But I actually think the more likely outcome is that the postseason is AJ Dillon's coming out party.
I know.
For real on the big stage. I actually think that's more likely. I think that's the more likely outcome. It's going to be cold, I
think so too. Nicholas traded Tyler Boyd in a 2023 second, Kareem Hunt for a 24 first, Sterling Shepard. Wait, hang on.
No, these are all
different trades.
All separate.
Tyler Boyd for a 2023 second and Kareem Hunt.
No. These are all separate. So Boyd for a second. Okay, let's start with the first one. Boyd for a second. Good.
Let's start with punctuation would be helpful.
That would help. Comma would have
slash,
Boyd,
maybe.
Comment, / whatever.
Something, yeah.
Boyd for the 23 second. I'm good with that one. That one's good. Hunt for a 24 first. I mean, you're never going to get a first the next 2 years for him. So I'm probably rather wait 3 years for a first than take a second now. So I'm good with that one. And Shepard's worth nothing. He's coming off an Achilles tear. Shepard is not even worth a fourth. So sure, that one is great. That's best of the three. That one is an easy smash accept.
Yep, I agree. Robert Miller, Joe Judge coaches more towards Booker's strength versus Barkley's. So here's the question. I'm going to pivot this. Wait, I'm going to pivot this to a question that might be actionable. Is there a coach that they could hire, that the Giants could hire, that would make you feel better about Saquon Barkley?
No, that would imply that the Saquon Barkley's issues were scheme dependent. Saquon Barkley's issues are that he was not as good anymore. I'm sorry. If I'm hearing about the scheme coach towards Booker's strengths, that the fact that we're having that conversation tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I recommended selling Barkley immediately when Judge was fired because I thought that was like, there could be an opportunity now. This could happen. That could happen. I don't want to talk about this could happen or that could happen. I want just to get this problem off my team and put him on someone else's team.
I think this question shows why you can still sell Barkley.
Yeah, there are people who believe things like this. I don't mean to be mean, but this is not a reality. And if it is, that's even scarier.
Anthony, a lot of Saquon Barkley questions today.
What kind of question is this?
103 in a Superflex league or Barkley?
103? No. No.
It's really not close. I mean,
it's not even honestly, close. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's really not close.
I'm not even trading the 103 and a 1 QB for Saquon Barkley, let alone a Superflex.
Parker, what do you think about running back free agent fantasy values? Sony, Melvin, Fournette, Kenny, Connor, Edmonds, Rojo. Pick out your favorites here.
Well, I mean, you put one extra name on the list that didn't need to get a mention, but the first 6 we can discuss.
Keyshawn Vaughn's backup, Rojo.
Yeah, Rojo is, I think, has a nice date with his couch coming up in his future. But as for the rest of them who actually deserve relevant jobs in the NFL, Sony, I think, Fournette, really all of them are going to get jobs, right? I mean, Fournette, I think, is just going to resign. Assuming Brady comes back. And Penny too. I think Penny's just going to resign in Seattle.
They should resign Penny.
Yeah,
I don't know where he's going to go.
No, I think Penny's going to resign. It's the only. He wasn't actually good for years, and then he found some success on this team. I just don't think another team is going to look at him and be like, he's going to be our solution. I think it's going to be the team that knew what they had. So Fournette and Penny, I think, stay. Connor or Edmonds will stay. I think it's going to be Connor, but honestly, I'm not sure. I would bet on it being Connor.
Yeah, he was really important to that team. I do think that
it could be both. It's not impossible.
To comment on Penny's stock, I do think Penny is going to get competition in Seattle.
Well, I mean, it could be Chris Carson coming back. I mean, they claim that Chris Carson is healthy. So I don't buy it, but that's what they claim.
It could also be Sony Michel. I think he's another one that could end up. Sometimes these running backs, they end up not going too far outside of their division. And
I don't see that. They're not going to re-sign Penny and sign Michel with Carson still hanging around. I don't see that. But of these, Sony is the one I feel like we know is gone. He's the one we know is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Melvin, we don't know that.
We don't know about Melvin, no.
I would lean toward Melvin leaving, but Sony, I think, is gone. I mean, they have Akers and Henderson under contract. If you're Sony Michel, I have no idea why you would sign there. I mean, there's going to be 10 teams lining up to give you better money and a better role. So he's not re-signing there. I mean, I've floated a lot of options for Sony Michel. I think there are a lot of them. I've floated Kansas City a million times. That's the one that I've said, I think, more than any other. There was someone else floated the Chargers to finally fix the complement to Austin Eckler to play the Gordon role. That they've tried.
Gordon?
Well, Gordon could also re-sign with the Chargers and play the Gordon role.
Right.
I thought about that. The Chargers and the Chiefs, though, are options.
Is Melvin the oldest on this list? If so, he's going to end up in Houston. That's where he's going. Maybe.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sony wants to start, he could go there. Melvin, the same thing. I mean, what other options are there, really? I mean, if Arizona decides they don't want those two and they want Sony or Melvin instead, someone could sign in Buffalo to complement Singletary, Sony or Melvin or Connor or Edmonds. Any of them, really.
I've heard the GM in Buffalo talk about wanting a home run threat. I don't know that any of these fit that bill.
Yeah, that's none of these. That's none of these. Maybe Penny the most, but I think also Penny is not going anywhere.
No, it's hard to see people investing in him. And, honestly, like with his history, I can't see a huge investment for many years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of teams who could use some help at the running back position. But I really think the Chiefs are the one. The Chiefs are the one that need a running back. That's what's holding them back from being a really good offense is the running back position. It's just they're not getting enough out of the running back position. The running back position is a minus for them. They have failure and boring. We always say running backs don't matter, but if it's failure and boring, you might not win that way. What if you need to lean on the running back at some point? And they're just not prepared to do that. So I think that Darrell Williams is a free agent. Mr. Boring. I think he's fine. But I think Sony Michel and Melvin Gordon are both way better.
Trevon Bolger thinking about trading the 104 and the 109 for Waddle in a 1 QB league. What do you think?
In a 1 QB league, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll take Waddle.
I don't mind that at all. I think it's a good deal.
Enough for Waddle.
Yep. Barkley not worth the 103. Eric, how are you guys doing? What's one thing that went well today?
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's been a pretty good day, really. I had an experiment and tried to cook turkey breasts in an air fryer. Actually went okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it would be a disaster, but it was actually pretty good.
I had a baseball.
Never talk about food. There's something about food for you.
I had a baseball parent meeting that went well. I was excited about baseball season coming up.
Can you imagine if I had kids? How irritable I am sometimes. That would be something.
A kosh. Okay. Emphasis on the second syllable. Hopefully I did that right.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Gosh. Sorry.
I'm trying.
Robert, and if yes, should I target Higgins? Okay, wait.
Good luck with that.
What was should I rebuild? So yeah, the answer was yes.
But my response to this was good luck with that. Like I would love to try that, but I do not think that's going to happen.
Mike Evans and Aaron Jones for T. Higgins?
Go for it. Try it. I don't think you'll get that done, honestly.
Yeah. I think I think you got the right idea. That's the kind of player you want to be targeting. Go after those types of players. Yes.
You might be more likely to get DJ Moore than T. Higgins, though. Just so you know.
Ooh, interesting. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, people don't like DJ Moore.
Oh, where did he wind up? Oh, man.
Ignore the ADP value. It tells you something. Well, actually, he was way lower than T. Higgins in the ADP value.
14. Yeah. What T. Higgins came in at wide receiver 11. Yeah, maybe you're right. Interesting. Okay. Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 10. I mean, I know he's going to be 29.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I do not understand. And someone has to explain this to me, why Devontae Adams is higher than Cooper Kupp. I don't get it. Cooper Kupp is younger. We know he's going to be in the same situation, whereas Adams has a lot going on in flux. Cooper Kupp had the better season most recently. I do not understand why Devontae Adams is higher. I don't get it. There's something I don't understand. But that one I don't get.
Nicholas, what should I try to get out of Stephon Diggs, or should I keep him? He's 28. I got Ayuk and Kirk. My tight end is Waller. I'm rebuilding. Those are my oldest players.
I mean, I'm not going to be in on Stephon Diggs at this point. He did a little bit better down the stretch. Probably still a disappointment for what you paid. He didn't pay off his startup pick value, for example, at his age.
That's probably true. It's not like he had a bad year. I mean,
no, he didn't have a bad year. But considering what you paid in a startup early second round pick in a startup, 1 QB startup, he probably you're a little disappointed.
Yep.
I can see that you'd be a little disappointed. Yeah, I mean, I would trade him. I mean, this is probably your last chance before he isn't a premium asset anymore. I don't think he's going to be considered a premium asset next offseason. Mm-hmm. So this is it. You either trade him now or you probably accept him, because next offseason he's going to become like Keenan Allen, a player you never want to trade. Player whose always production value is higher than his trade value. So this is your opportunity to trade Stephon Diggs. Waller is a hard sell for me. I don't want Waller. I don't want him. I have concerns about his production, unlike Diggs, where it's more of a value thing with Diggs.
Yeah, Waller fell to tight end 5 in the most recent ADP, which I think he's going to end up lower than that. I think he's going to end up 7 or 8, maybe even.
Yeah, but his overall ADP is actually about right. It's at 56, and I have him at 58, but I've already put in rookie placeholders, so I actually have him higher than his overall ADP. Because I've spotted in 6 rookies ahead of him. So I actually have him 52 among players. I actually have him higher than his current ADP value would say.
I would take Hockenson, I believe, over him. The one that is still...
Yeah, no, I think the players that are evaluated wrong in the ADP are not Waller. Waller's actually evaluated correctly. I think it's Hockenson and Goddard that are wrong. They're too low. Waller's actually priced about right.
I think Schultz at tight end 10 is probably still low too, right? I mean,
there's uncertainty with Schultz, though. I mean, he's a free agent that if they were really so excited, they could have extended him at some point, and they haven't done that. So
we talked a little bit about Penny, but early second or him. Give me any second.
No, I wouldn't say any second. I mean, I can spot him for you. I mean, in a 1 QB, I got him between 202 and 203. Superflex. Again, this is something a little weird with how the pick curve came out. I'm going to have to work on that, but the pick curve spots him between 208 and 209 in Superflex tight end premium. That seems a little low. But still maybe can manually adjust it up to 206, 207. So
I just think I think Seattle's going to sign another running back, or there's going to be news of Chris Carson coming back or something like that. His value is going to go down. Yes, he had a strong finish to the season, but do you think he's starting 12 games for Seattle next year? I would take the under on that.
I think that there's a good chance he could pay off his value because it's not that high.
Yeah, I would just I'd rather the mystery box of any second.
Not this time.
Eric, half Superflex, tight end premium, Amon-Ra and 112.
Easy.
Or Elijah Mitchell and Pat Freiermuth.
It'll be the Mitchell side. I'd rather have Mitchell than Amon-Ra, and I'd rather have Freiermuth than the 112 in this kind of premium. So Mitchell side.
Yeah, especially with the premium there. Nicholas watched Addison's video earlier, and actually he was saying Gibson and Jacobs are roughly the same value. They had almost identical total numbers this year. Jacobs and Gibson.
Well, no, that's not what he was saying. He was saying that they had similar production with a gap in value. So he was saying that he felt that Jacobs was a good discount option on the more like brand name Gibson. That's what he was saying. But yes, I mean, I could see that considering the numbers. And the age is not that different. Jacobs is, I believe, 6 months older. Or so, not a big gap there. I mean, I feel that Jacobs is someone rarely where I actually do not mind his price at a running back in that range. It's rare. Usually I hate prices of running backs in that range, but his is actually pretty good. He's way too low in the current ADP. I don't understand.
I think so too.
I don't get it. I don't get why he's valued one spot away from failure. I don't. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those two are in different universes. Those two are in different universes to me. I don't understand how they're valued anywhere near each other.
The amount of people in front of Josh Jacobs that
Ezekiel Elliott is in front of Josh Jacobs. I do not understand that.
Josh Jacobs is as good a bet as anybody to return to a bell cow role next year.
Josh Jacobs is just okay. He's okay.
There's a handful of people who you're like, yeah, they're definitely returning to this same type of role they had last year. It's he's one of the ones where you're most sure that he's going to return and have a role.
Correct. So again, I'm fine.
Not a safety there. King Henry, gosh, this is next 3 years as a contender. Would you prefer to have Baker Mayfield or Zach Wilson?
Well, I mean, if you're a contender and you're playing these players at quarterback, you're not actually a contender, right? So you're not a contender if they're going in one of your quarterback spots. So forget the as a contender part. I'll just move on to the who would I rather have. I've seen more than enough from Baker Mayfield to tell me that he is not it. I don't need more. 4 years has been more than enough time. I don't need to see more. I'm good. So no thank you. I guess I'll take Zach Wilson then because it's more of a mystery. I've seen enough from Baker Mayfield to know I don't like him. So maybe Zach Wilson will turn it around. Not that I'm confident in that. I mean, I have Zach Wilson at quarterback 21 and Baker Mayfield at quarterback 24, but they're not in the same tier. Zach Wilson is at the end of his tier at quarterback 21, and then there's a massive drop off. Like it's over 20 overall spots until the next player. So they're not close. I have Zach Wilson way higher than Baker Mayfield. But I don't want Zach Wilson either. Baker Mayfield is a complete no thank you. I will not accept having him on my team. Period.
Weeks 12 to 17. So last part of the season, there was some improvement from Zach Wilson. He was actually the quarterback 11 over those last few weeks. So
he was still bad. I mean,
just pointing out there's some improvement. And so just agreeing with you, I'd rather see that than I don't know where I'd have to scroll down to see where Baker is. 27.
No, Baker is terrible. I don't need to see more of him being terrible. I'm good on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's barely ahead of Justin Fields, who played 2 games in that time.
Baker's ceiling is like Derek Carr's down year.
Yeah, that's
Derek Carr's down years is Baker Mayfield's ceiling. So I don't want
Odell Beckham with a competent quarterback, and then you'll start to figure out what.
Yeah, no, but seriously, that's it. I mean, Derek Carr's down fantasy years are Baker Mayfield's ceiling. So I'm good. I just, even in a super flex, I cannot imagine a scenario where I want to start him. It's just I don't want him. He doesn't carry value to me.
Me neither. Cody, how do you value Calvin Ridley? Take the wait and see approach. I kind of think you have to at this point.
What do you do? A lot about him. What do you do? I don't know. I think Deshaun Watson. 2 things I don't want to say tired of talking about, but it's gotten to the point with Deshaun Watson and Calvin Ridley that, and for very different reasons, obviously, that I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think they're highly risky. They're not players that I'm looking to buy or draft. I'll just let someone else deal with this in both cases, obviously for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And if you already have him, I would have sold him already. When people still believed he was going to come back this year. I don't understand how anyone thought that, to be honest. I thought that was pretty obvious from the beginning that he was not coming back this year. So I would have sold him earlier. If I'm in this position now, how do you even sell him now? I have done some Patreon trades trading Ridley away. It is possible for returns I've been happy with to just not have. I don't want to be left holding the bag.
His ADP is still wide receiver 20, and that's
not his real value. That's his. Remember what ADP value is.
Yeah.
It's the value of the person willing to take him the highest. His real value is way lower.
But
way lower.
This is just too. I can't do this. Like I just, to me, Calvin Ridley is, even if he comes back, you're not going to ever get full recoup value. So if you're hanging on, hoping you can sell later for a better price, I just don't think that scenario is going to happen for you. There are still some trades on the trade finder where he's getting traded for a first. Maybe that's not realistic. If you can get that, to me, that's
realistic.
If you can get anything close to that, to me, you take it.
Yeah, I mean, his value now is where it would be if he came back. That's what it would be. I mean, He was not good. He was not good. Remember, it's not like he was playing great and then went out. He was not good. Mm-hmm. Not good, and then went out. So there's no guarantee. And that's another thing, is that these issues, whatever they are, could have been affecting his play. And it's a sad thing, but that's very possible. And there's no guarantee that magically became better. I mean, maybe it's still going to affect him. Who knows? It's not like he was good when he was on field this year. So, yeah, I mean, he's valued, like I said, at a location. What was it? Wide receiver 20, 41.83 overall. I mean, that's where he would be if he came back. So you're assuming all the risk with no reward. So I just don't get it.
Beck's keeper, PPR league, keep Tony or Michael Carter.
Yeah, I'll take my chances with Carter. Might as well running back and a keeper. Tony, what is Tony going to do for me? I don't know. There are a lot of receivers I could be interested in. I'll go Carter.
He is somebody that I think you don't want some traditionalist coach to end up in New York. You don't want some I'm trying to think Darrell Bevel or something like that being your coach if you're in New York.
Who knows at this point? Tony's problem was not that he wasn't schemed in the couple games he was healthy enough to play. He was schemed in just fine. The problem was that he couldn't get on the field for the other games. So I'll take Carter just in case.
Yep. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Appreciate you.
Ryan and I are coming back on Thursday on my channel, by the way.
Nice. There you go.
Doing a Dynasty show, weekly Dynasty show on there. So 2 shows for me per week, this one and that one. Love you,
Jason.
Ryan.
Says 12 teams, Superflex, Waddle plus 202 or Evans plus 104.
This is a little. I could see this. I could see why you would do this. This feels a little pricey to me. I guess. Okay. Let me put it this way. If I had Evans and 104 already, I'm not doing this. But if I had Waddle in 202, I'm not doing this either. If I had Evans in 104, I would try to do better. I'd keep the 104 and try to trade Evans for something else. If I had Waddle in 202, I'm not doing this trade either because I don't want to trade into Evans like this. So this is, if I had to pick, the value's about even, but it's probably on the Evans side. But if I have Waddle, I'm not going to the asset I don't want. In this case, the descending asset in Evans. So yeah, if you're from the Waddle perspective, just don't do this deal. Hold what you have. If you're from the Evans side, keep the 104 and trade Evans for something else.
Akash says Travis Etienne.
Oh my god, I can't.
That's pretty much
it. I can't. We keep hearing about this one, aren't we?
Are we worried about DK with Russ potentially leaving? A lot of potentials, a lot of things up in the air. Russ is one that I just feel like he's as good as gone.
I wouldn't say he's as good as gone, but I would.
don't know that DK needs Russell Wilson.
With the way Russ was playing, I'm not sure that this is such a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not always, I get it. You want a good quarterback, but with someone like DK, they can succeed. DK can succeed with any quarterback.
Correct.
I'm not particularly worried for DK. I have downgraded him slightly. I mean, I have DK at wide receiver 7 in Dynasty. So I've downgraded him. And I would definitely prefer to go with AJ Brown over DK if I had to choose between the two. But it probably still makes him a buy considering how most people see him. But there are still the people who have DK top 3. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a little bit worried, but not particularly. I mean, how worried could I be about someone I have rated wide receiver 7, right? That tells you I'm not that worried.
Geno Smith was the Seahawks quarterback from week 5 to week 8 this year. And this is standard. Hang on, let me get PPR. Yeah, he was the wide receiver 4 during that time. So I just don't think he needs Russell Wilson to be successful. So if the DK Metcalf manager is nervous, maybe that is somebody that you can potentially knock on the door about. I'm not worried about him at all.
I'm not. Yeah, I have some concerns, but he was not bad.
Yeah. Just going to 25. I mean, he's still young.
Yeah, just turned 24 in December.
Yeah. It is worrying.
If he means if Russ leaves, I would not worry. He'll be a strong buy for me if Russ leaves. Put it that way.
Nicholas, would you think I'm in rebuild mode if I got 3 starters in a 12-team 1 QB league? Kyler Murray, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs,
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, Darren Waller. I don't think you're in rebuild mode here.
This is tough.
I don't think you're in a situation where you can go into the season with this team and win the championship.
Yeah, this team feels like this year was your chance and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
This year was your chance with Waller and, Diggs. You have a lot of players I feel like are getting worse, not better. I think it's time to... I think if you try to run it back with this team, you'll fail. And then you'll be left in a terrible situation afterwards. So it's, as time passes in a dynasty league, the stratification increases. So the team you need to win becomes better. You need a better team to win. You need a monster team. Just a good team isn't good enough.
That's true.
So I would probably blow this team up if it were me.
I think it depends on what your league is like too. I can see trying to take this team and pivot to a more competitive team.
It also depends on what your bench players are.
Yeah.
Like, is this it or is there more?
Yeah.
But
do you have like a
starter? I'm not liking it. I can't imagine. This is not a dynasty contender.
Fully stocked draft picks, like there's some.
Yeah. What do you have? Yeah.
Right.
But if this is it, this is not a contender. You need more than this.
Taylor May wants to know: would you rather have Jamar Chase or Michael Carter, the 101 and a 2024 first, and a super flex full PPR?
Chase. Barely.
Yeah, I want Chase. I think
it's close.
Yeah, Chase.
It's close, but I'll still take Chase.
Chase went in the first round of a 14-team super flex startup that I'm in.
Fair. I mean, I have him at 8 in the super flex tight end premium, so I would do it.
Yep.
Even a 14-teamer.
Parker says Amari isn't going to be a Cowboy, so it depends on where he lands.
I disagree with you.
He's not a free agent.
No, he's very much not a free agent. I mean, he has 3 years left on that deal. I mean, yeah, they can save $16 million by releasing him. They could do that. But with Gallup injury, I think Gallup is gone, and they can't just rely on Gallup and then re-signing Gallup and cutting Amari. I don't think they're going to do that with Gallup's injury. So, yeah, my guess is that they ask Amari to take a pay cut. And he accepts it because he's not going to get anywhere. He's not going to get $16 million elsewhere. So I think if he takes a pay cut to $16 million fully guaranteed for this year, I think he takes the cut.
Good question here. 4th and 1, 10-team Superflex. Watson for Mooney in the 106. Now, remember, we talked about it in a 10-team league. Quarterbacks are not quite as valuable in a Superflex in a 10 as they are in a 12.
The scarcity is not there. Every team can have 3. So I think I'll go with the 106 and Mooney. In a 10-team Superflex, I'm not waiting for Watson. There are too many other options. So I'll take 106 and Mooney.
I agree. Trevon Bulger, do we think Dalton Schultz resigns? We talked about him a little bit earlier, but what do you think about picking up Blake Jarwin?
These are 2 separate questions. You're right about the Blake Jarwin part. Dallas has told us everything we need to know. Blake Jarwin is in a tight end premium league. He's a stash player at best. If Schultz were to suffer a catastrophic injury, then sure. But that's what Blake Jarwin is. Schultz, I do think they re-sign him. He's too good. I don't think they're going to let him walk, but you never know. I was very confident the Chargers would re-sign Hunter Henry last offseason, and they never did. So possible. I mean, we'll see. But I would lean towards him re-signing. If he signs anywhere else, he loses value. I don't think Dalton Schultz. I do not think Dalton Schultz is actually very good. I don't. There's something with him and Dak that is working, but I am not a fan of Schultz's talent in general. So if he signs anywhere else, he's going to be a hard fade for me.
Deep pickup. Sean McKeon is a backup running back. Backup tight end there. Is it deep?
I could name 20 players like that in deep tight ends that I would rather. He's not on my list. No, thank you.
Ryan Miozi says, "Hey guys, I'm hearing a lot of chatter online about selling CeeDee in Dynasty. What's your opinion on CeeDee's outlook? We talked a little bit about CeeDee already
earlier. and I'm pretty good with him. But I could get it. I mean, I see why the wide receiver 3 value is a little high. I mean, I still have him there, but I get it. It feels a little weird considering his production has not been that. The only problem is that if you look at it, wide receiver 4, AJ Brown, has his production really consistently been there? No, he spent a lot of time injured. DK Metcalf, what about his production? Where was that this year? And very inconsistent. So, and then you go down further, you have Cooper Kupp, Hill, Adams, you have older players. So do you want them over Lamb with a 6-year age gap or 5, 6, 7 year age gap? Do you want them? So it's kind of like, I get it, but kind of a tough spot.
Yep. So I'm going to summarize. Ryan is talking about Russ, where he's going to go. He thinks you want him to go to New York and I want him to go to the Saints, which you're not wrong, Ryan.
True.
And Ed's saying there could be some great spots he could land. And I just kind of wanted to briefly touch on this, but Pittsburgh and Denver being the spot that everybody wants a quarterback to go to, right? I think everybody wants a good, competent quarterback to go to Pittsburgh or Denver with the weapons that they have. So do you think it's possible that one of those two teams lands a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers? Or, what do you think? Do you think that is the most likely destination for somebody like that? Or do you think they end up somewhere else?
Well, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere. I think you have to worry more about Aaron Rodgers retiring because he's mad at the NFL. I think Aaron Rodgers' anger has been redirected. If you've noticed. If you noticed who Aaron Rodgers is angry at, it's not the Packers organization anymore. Now Aaron Rodgers is angry at the NFL.
Yeah.
So I don't think whatever was going on between Rodgers and the Packers, and there were big problems, I think those issues have been resolved. I think that if he was going to force the move to happen, it would have happened. It would have happened last offseason. It would have already happened. I don't think Rodgers is the kind of person who really plays. I don't think he agrees to come back, really, if he doesn't have a good intention of potentially staying there, especially with how well it's worked out. So I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere. I do think Jordan Love is going somewhere because really this is the year 3. You can't keep him sitting with the way the contract is structured more than 2 years. So I think Jordan Love is gone. And I actually think we've named 2 places right here that I think he could end up, although I think Denver is less likely. Pittsburgh is more likely for Jordan Love. But I do think the most likely spot for Jordan Love is Washington. Because they're the only team that's going to be desperate enough to do it where no veteran is going to want it. No veteran is going to want to go into that disaster.
Kirk Cousins reunion in Washington?
I think the odds of that are a big fat 0. Considering how Kirk Cousins feels about Mr. Snyder. I think that
I would love it to happen. That's what I'm rooting for.
0. Kirk Cousins, I'm not sure will ever speak to the Washington management ever again. So I don't think so. They also don't like him with the way he went out the door. So yeah, that's not happening. But I do think that Rodgers remains in Green Bay and Jordan Love is traded. I do think, though, more likely Russell Wilson being traded. I think these are possible locations. I do think he'll go to the AFC. I don't think he's going to end up traded in the NFC. So if you look at the AFC, who really has room for Russell Wilson? I mean, what are the options? The Steelers, Denver. I would hope the Giants, but I do recognize that at AFC is more likely. Steelers and Denver are really the ones who have a free quarterback room.
1 QB league here, Tommy. This is more of a keeper question, so it's not exactly the same with Dynasty here, but Dalvin and Kelsey for 101, 301, 2023 first. To me, I would rather have the elite players here.
In a 6 keeper is redraft. Treat 6 keeper like you're still on the point where it's redraft. Yep. So I will take a 23 first and 6 keeper is worth a lot more. Because you're getting every rookie and a lot of players that weren't kept potentially. So, but again, keeper is not my area of expertise. I play almost no keeper. I have a lot of experience with redraft, a lot of experience with Dynasty. Keeper, almost none. So,
Adam with one of my favorite comments that he always puts up here. Callan Carp, the homies. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate every time.
I love you, Adam.
Get to tune in.
Adam's been probably my longest supporter, so
yeah,
appreciate that.
Yeah, he's been making that comment in our chat for
Adam's been supporting me way longer than we've been doing the show.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
Melvin Gordon is worth what? A 2022 second?
I'll spot him for you. Is worth less than pennies. So Melvin Gordon, I don't have him very high. I have him between the 208 and 209 and 1 QB. It's even in Superflex 301, 302. Seems kind of low, but I just don't value players like that. He's 29 before he takes another snap running back. I just don't value players like that. So he'll be an avoid for me.
What are we doing, Mac Jones?
Oh, I'm probably drafting him. I tend to like the value of quarterbacks in that range, so I'll draft him.
He's never gonna have the upside, I think.
No, I have him at 15.
Yeah, but I think he's good. I think he overperformed what most would have expected from him this year. Don't worry about how he finished.
Yeah.
He overperformed.
I would definitely keep him. He's not someone you're not going to get the value I want in a trade, so I'll keep him.
Yeah, and follow up to that, he's saying Superflex, valuable tight ends to target this offseason. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, given their price, we talked about them earlier. Hawkinson and Goddard are terribly mispriced in the current ADP, so they'll be my targets. Hawkinson and Goddard.
We've talked a little bit too about Irv Smith as a potential buy.
No, I'm not buying Irv Smith. Irv Smith is someone I would draft, but he's too low. Generally, you can't buy players that low in the rankings. So people see right through it. You can throw them in or you can draft them.
Right.
But he's too low on the list for someone that I'm going to buy. Honestly, I'm okay with Kyle Pitts' price. I'm okay with Mark Andrews' price. And then, Kittle, Kelsey, not so much. But Hawkinson and Goddard, I think the two, if I'm trading for, those are the ones I'm trading for. Pitts and Andrews are more players I think I'd be drafting. I think if you have to trade for them, you're not going to be able to get the current manager to let them go. But Hawkinson and Goddard, you might. People are disappointed in them.
Sergio, 12 teams, Superflex have Wentz, Carr, Mayfield, Daniel Jones at QB. Should I trade Devontae Adams to upgrade, or Devontae Adams plus to upgrade at QB?
Well, you have a disaster here. You have a disaster quarterback. I mean, disaster. And then you have Adams. So you have a receiver who only belongs on a contender, but you're not a contender because your quarterbacks are terrible. I mean, this is no good. So what quarterback should you expect in return for Adams? Well, I would expect, let's see. How about Mac Jones? You think Mac Jones for Adams?
I think you might do better.
I think you get Mac plus. You think you can do better? I don't think you can. I don't think you can do better. How much better?
Well, so if I'm looking at, some of this, I guess, is looking at.
I actually don't think you can do better.
What about Justin Fields or Trey Lance? Could you do
Trey Lance? No way. Trey Lance, no way. It would be a huge plus. Justin Fields, I actually am not going to like it because you're going to need Adams plus more than I'm willing to give.
Like it. We got to zip through some of these here. You
want a good suggestion? People are really low on this guy. I would suggest looking at Adams for you might be able to get Ryan Tannehill and something relatively significant.
Yeah,
for Adams,
to give a plus.
That might be the kind of thing that you could do.
Yeah, not bad. Alberto, nice cheap tight end. Could hit eventually. We've been expecting it for a little while with him. So
that's not his fault. I mean, he's stuck on a depth chart with Fant. And you don't have any control over that. Of these two, though, Alberto, yes. Moreau, absolutely not.
Knox and Goddard, worth chicken a stick at.
Goddard, yes. Knox, no.
Komet is a sneaky one this year. Hunter Long, maybe.
Overrated.
Komet's sort of underrated. I wonder if
Komet's overrated.
I just wonder if we were a year early on him. That's kind of what I'm wondering. If we were a year early and going into next year.
No, I don't think so. I think Komet is just not the receiving weapon that you're going to want in fantasy. Real life tight end, maybe. I mean, I think he's going to be a good real life tight end. I just don't know if he's going to be the receiving weapon that you want. And Hunter Long, no. I mean, he was a healthy scratch all year. I don't care how tough the position is to learn. If you can't make the game day roster as a third day pick, I don't care. A third round pick. I don't care what the excuse is. you're not good enough for me. You should be making the game day roster by the end of the season as a rookie. If you don't, I won't take an excuse for you. So he's a no for me.
Alec traded AJ Brown before week 14, gave away what would become 108 and 206. Great trade.
That's a good trade.
He's got these wide receivers, and then he's going to be.
What's the question here?
He's asking down here. What should you change with the wide receivers? So I guess he's saying he wants to upgrade at running back. He's got these wide receivers. Is there anybody in here that you're looking to get rid of?
Wide receiver is good, in good shape.
Bateman and Judy, we both talked about. See what you can get for.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I
start there.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too panicky. I like holding on to a good stable of wide receivers.
Could you package them and get
Elijah Mitchell? I'm not trading for Elijah Mitchell right now. Why? Why am I trading for running back in January?
Dobbins?
But why am I trading for running back in January?
Yeah. No, not that you should, but I just thinking about
people get antsy. This is exactly what I tell people not to do, is try to fill lineup holes in January.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
What are your thoughts on Devonta Smith? Don't like his quarterback situation.
And I like the talent of Devonta Smith. I do not like the situation. It's tough. Similar to Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy's younger, but has also had 2 years of failure. So that kind of cuts both ways. Jerry Jeudy might have his situation fixed. We know Devonta Smith is not, but Devonta Smith's current situation is not as bad as Jerry Jeudy's. Man, I don't think you can move Devonta Smith for the value I want. Who are you even going to get? If you can turn Devonta Smith to Michael Pittman, I would. Maybe that's someone. I don't know. It's tough. He's probably a hold.
I think he's a hold, and I'm not super concerned about his quarterback situation right now.
Well, I am concerned about it.
He had the best Eagles wide receiver season for a rookie ever. Like, let's.
Yeah, I guess I'm not that concerned. So
yeah. Superflex Dynasty, Aaron Jones for Zach Wilson.
Oh, I'll take Zach Wilson.
Yeah, me too. As crazy as that might sound.
No, it isn't. A 27-year-old running back for a quarterback is a quarterback.
Ryan wants to know if we can get DJ Moore a quarterback. I think they're going to, and I think his name's going to be Deshaun Watson.
I agree. I think Deshaun Watson is going to be their quarterback.
Sell Debo high?
I mean, no, I don't think so.
He's still good.
Yeah, no, he's not someone I'm like, feel like I have to move. So no, I'd say no. Generally.
Nicholas says I want Jacobs and I guess Keyshawn Vaughn. Who cares? Yeah,
barely matters. Yeah, take the 2 first if you're rebuilding. Yeah, take the 2 firsts there.
No PPR, no premium. Firemouth and 107 plus 2023 seconds or Pitts.
I'll still take Pitts. It's close. I'll still take Pitts.
Give me Pitts.
It's not that close. I'll still take Pitts.
Let's see. 14-team league. How do you rate depth wide receiver players such as Russell Gage, Kendrick Bourne, Josh Reynolds?
Okay, so in a 14-team league, assuming you start the same number of players you do in a 12-team league, let's say 14, start 10. Then start 10. 2 quarterback super flex, and then 8 combo, a tight end, and then 7 flex type players, however you want to split them up.
Yep.
So you're talking about, for example, in a 12-team league, Josh Reynolds is irrelevant no matter what. In a 12-team league, I'd still say Russell Gage is still someone I care about because he's going into free agency, whatever. But the difference is someone like Kendrick Bourne. In a 12-team league, there's just no interest in Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, he had a big game in the last game he played, but they're going to sign another wide receiver. They have to. And he's just going to be on the depth chart. You're never going to be able to trust him in your lineup as more than a wide receiver 4 or 5. You just can't trust him.
Get that, right.
But in a 14-team league, someone like Kendrick Bourne is actually relevant. It's a different because, if everyone starts 3 wide receivers, say, you just have to start 42 players instead of 36. And that's the difference. That's maybe a flex too. A flex could get in there. So, someone like Kendrick Bourne goes from a roster clogger to relevant in a 14-team league. Essentially, what happens is the line for what older veterans or roster cloggers moves back like 10, 15 spots.
We'll try to go real quick, so I'm going to abbreviate some of these questions.
Chubb is a hard
or
sell.
Dobbins?
We know that. Chubb is a hard sell for me, and that I've said many times.
I would definitely take Dobbins.
Yeah.
Murray for Lawrence plus Debo plus a 2023 first.
I love Kyler Murray, but this is too much. It's the Lawrence side.
Chubbs or Jacobs and 205.
The market and perceived value remains with the Chubb side.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like taking bad value deals. So I would want to do better than this if I had Chubb. Yeah. But I'm probably not giving up Jacobs in 205 to go into Chubb either.
No, push come to shove, I think I would do this. I think I would rather have the Jacobs
I would, but I know that the market value is on the Chubb side. So I would try to do better.
I love this. I had not thought about this, but Kirk ending up in Vegas, I'd actually like that a lot.
Kirk, as in Christian Kirk?
Yeah.
No. Christian Kirk. No, not at all. Christian Kirk excels. No, Christian Kirk excels in the slot. Why on earth would he go to Las Vegas, where Hunter Renfrow is locked in? No, not Vegas. That's the one place actually Christian Kirk would not go.
No, I do like it.
One place he would fail. Christian Kirk can't play on the outside.
I like Derek Carr matched up with him.
No. It's just because Hunter Renfrow is there. I would like him with Derek Carr. The problem is that they have a player in that spot already. So that's ruled out. And also, I think Vegas needs more of an X receiver. They need a one, to replace what the combination of what Ruggs was and what Edwards failed to be. They need a one. Kirk literally could fit on almost any other team. To be honest, Kirk is good where he is. If they hadn't drafted Rondale Moore, Kirk is fitting in great where he is. There's really which is very scary, by the way. If you have shares of Rondale Moore, I would be terrified on the off chance. I think it's an off chance that Christian Kirk resigns. I think it's unlikely, but if he resigns, Rondale Moore is dead because Christian Kirk was good in the slot role. Good. He was played very well. And that would kill Rondale Moore to me. So I'd be scared a little.
I've got to...
If you want actual landing spots for Kirk, I think that anywhere that has a dominant alpha 1 and needs a 2 who plays in the slot would be good choices like, let's see, Green Bay again. Kansas City again. Buffalo. Actually, if they let Beasley is out of his deal. If they they can gut him. Kirk has a lot of options. He's someone I think is going to be very popular in free agency, but this is the one place I actually think it wouldn't work for him.
I guess you're right with Renfrow.
Kirk is an excellent slot receiver. He needs to go
in a world where Renfrow didn't exist. I love the matchup with Carr. I guess I totally agree with you.
I totally agree with you. That's why Renfrow is so good. I agree if Renfrow weren't there. But the reason Kirk failed at the beginning of his career is because Larry Fitzgerald was playing the slot.
Bingo.
Feeling where Kirk needs to play. So he needs to go somewhere. There are so many good options. Again, someone I'm watching in free agency. I'm very intrigued by the possibility of Christian Kirk,
Completely agree. We talked about this a little bit, but D-Hop, we're basically
it's too late
or whatever.
It's too late. Yeah, you missed your chance. It's too late to sell for anything significant. He joined the Keenan Allen group.
If you're trading Najee and you were getting Gibson, what else would you need?
Ooh, I'd like something pretty significant. How about a wide receiver that I like at least? Gibson but it's got to be a wide receiver I really like. I don't know. Is Gibson and Devonta Smith enough? I don't think so. So Gibson and Elijah Moore, is that enough?
Ooh, I do like that.
That might be what I would need because I just don't think someone like Devonta Smith or Michael Pittman is enough. Even
Gibson
with Gibson
and Deontay Johnson.
Wow, that's not happening.
That's not happening.
I would take Gibson and Johnson easily, but that's not happening.
But I think that, in other words, I'm not giving up Najee easily. I think it's a pretty big downgrade to go from Najee to
a pretty big downgrade for me as well.
So I would need something significant in return.
You're going from someone can handle the workhorse role to someone who has proven that they probably shouldn't handle a workhorse role.
Yep. So yeah, Nicholas, look, we making trades happen here. That's what we do, right? Making trades happen.
2024, those picks will look better in July when they're only 2 years out instead of 3. So it's not so bad. If you really need to rebuild, I don't mind pivoting to 2023 and 2024 now. I don't hate it.
Rock Lee, Pitts, a 2022 and 2023 first or Chase. This is one of the instances where I would rather have Chase. I'm selling
over all of that.
No, I'm sorry. I meant the opposite.
Yeah.
One of those where I would sell Chase. Sorry.
This is a ridiculous offer.
Yep.
I'll take the Pitts side.
Trade away Chase for that package when the season was
too
over.
Appealing to pass up. Yeah, it's a great offer.
Taylor May, would you do that same Jamar Chase trade with Michael Carter in the 101, but with Justin Jefferson instead of Chase?
Changes nothing if it's Jefferson instead of Chase. So I'd take Chase like I would have. I'll take Jefferson like I would have with Chase.
Davis Mills, what do you think? I think and last time we did a show, you didn't like Culley. I like Culley. You thought he was gonna get fired. I didn't think he was gonna get fired. You were right. I was wrong. Culley is gone. I don't think that helped Davis Mills.
It helped. It might help him play better, but it increases the odds that he's not the quarterback.
I mean, he overperformed. Thank you, David Culley.
Well, he performed in spite of Culley's poor coaching. But with that said, I think that Davis Mills is never going to lock down the starting job. He's always going to be someone where you have an eye on a replacement. I'm still leaning that he starts next year, but just because I don't know if the pathway to replacing him is great, and there are so much more talented players than a quarterback at 3 overall, which is where they are. But I don't think Davis Mills is a franchise quarterback, and I would not value him like a franchise quarterback. I'm going to value him going into the season probably like how I valued, say, someone like Jimmy G going into the season. There's a gained value, but someone who's like, okay, it's obvious that their time is up in this location.
Yeah.
You're looking at 1 year. You're looking at 1 year, and Jimmy G beat the odds. On that, because he's locked down another starting job for sure with how well he's played.
I think he's Gardner Minshew. I think that's kind of what his
correct. Yeah, that's exactly. It's kind of exactly how I see it.
Is DeAndre Swift worth 2 firsts in a 10-team Superflex Dynasty half PPR? What's the cutoff?
So let's say you're getting a random 2023. So what 2022 with a random 2023 is good enough to take it?
It would have to be top 3 for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. Anything less is a definite no. So 10-team half PPR doesn't change too much. So yeah,
Swift is good. Swift is
like the 101. The 101, I would definitely do it. The 102, I think I'd still take the picks. 103 and a 23 first, I'm thinking about it. But 101 or 102, I'm doing it for sure.
Cody traded Ridley and Sermon for the 109 and a 12-team.
Well, I mean, by getting rid of Sermon, you actually improved your team. He was the opposite of success. He was a big failure.
I heard Sermon declared for the transfer portal, so we'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, we will see. Look, I think if I could just get the 109 for Ridley, I would just do it in a super flex, especially, and just move on. I get it, but you don't want to be the one holding the bag, because if you're holding the bag, like people with Andrew Luck were holding the bag, you hold the bag and you get nothing. So 109 is enough that if Ridley comes back, he's already 27 and he's still good. I can live with it. I can live with it.
Sorry, I'm trying to rush through here, but we're getting close to the end of our show. How do you feel about Michael Carter and Elijah Mitchell? I think Michael Carter's a little undervalued. He's RB24.
I'm writing my Jets Dynasty capsule actually, or no, that one was just published. So I just wrote that. Go check that out. It's on the website. So talked about Michael Carter, and I think I've talked about Elijah Mitchell a lot in saying that I'm pretty sure he's their starter next year with high degree of confidence.
12-team Superflex, sell Jordan Love to a QB needy team or hold because of possibility of value increase.
Okay. The thing with Jordan Love is that the status quo is not going to remain. And whatever the change is, it's going to be better than what it is now for his value, where he's a clear backup. So it can't be worse, right?
Him or Ramondre Stevenson? Which one?
I mean,
in a super flex?
I guess I'll take probably Love, but
Flip a coin.
whatever.
Do you think you can pivot from Rondale to Kenny Galladay or a Juju?
Well,
would you want to?
Kenny Galladay is irrelevant to me, so I'm not doing that. And Juju, I'd probably still stick with Ronald Moore, but it's very close. And they're back to back in ADP.
Yeah,
with more one spot ahead.
Jacob, this is probably a question we don't have time to get into all the details on, but it's a good question.
Yeah,
I like it.
This is not a show question, but unlike some of the other questions I passed on, this is a good article question, which I will answer.
Start that one for you.
But yeah, generally I'm on option B of stay consistent. I'm definitely don't typically do option A of changing things.
I do think you have to be liquid a little, be water a little bit, be fluid, but
yeah. But if the question is either or, and I have to just give an answer and shut up, I'm saying the second answer.
Zeke and a third, or Chris Godwin.
Godwin,
absolutely. Yeah, we had a lot of Baker talk, man. A lot of Baker talk.
Where am I at with Baker? I'm at that he sucks.
Yeah, that he's gonna have
terrible
trouble. Could he have a backup job in the next couple of years? I think that's potentially where he's going.
It. Yeah, I think next year's it. It's his 5th year option, and then after that, he's a free agent. Absolutely, I think he could easily have one more year of relevance left, and that's it.
Couple more quick questions. 10-team PPR, Superflex, start 2 tight ends, Chase for Fields, Mooney, and 110.
Good question. I like this one. Okay. So I think for me, given that it's a 10-teamer, Mooney, 110, they're quite a bit lower. I think I'd still take Chase, especially with a 10-teamer, because the Fields asset goes way down in value here. But he's asking if it's close. Yes, it's close. It's not an unreasonable deal. But since I have Fields about a round lower than consensus, he's someone I don't want at all. I'll take Chase.
Justin says thanks. Evan says thanks. Jason says see you guys next week. Thanks again. And we thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You guys did a great job, as always. Killing it in the chat. We appreciate every single one of you. Tyler, any last words?
Not really. I mean, I just thank everyone for listening to the show, watching the show. I think everyone who, if you found my Patreon through this show, thank you for signing up. 7 of you signed up in the last day. Welcome. Wow. Welcome. And I occasionally do pass on the very lengthy or very person specific questions, because those are hard to answer on the show. And, if you sign up for my Patreon, I'll work with you directly one-on-one. So we can take some of those, very you specific about your team, your league, because it's hard to answer those on the show. But I
Rock
do take
said,
those.
Smash the like button on the way out. You guys rock.
Yeah, subscribe, and don't forget to thank Addison at some point, either here or on Twitter or somewhere, because he's the one who comments from the show channel. He does a lot of videos, and he also gives you all the tools on the site, without which there would be no articles. At least we wouldn't have my articles, because I need those tools to make my articles. So just make sure to thank Addison, because I wouldn't have been nearly as successful in my time at DLF without him. So
you guys rock.